Right, good evening, welcome back to RLH for another week. We've got Spanish Grand Prix action for you this time. We've got cars already out on track, and Joro straight to the top of the pile on a 1:15.1. And we'll try and catch a few more of the laps as they're coming around. We've got Frenzy now on a lap coming into the final sector, and he's taking it very steady, and he's well across the inside of the track there, invalidating. And I wonder if we've got a little bit of rain on the horizon. Looks very dark out there. We'll pick up Giraffe, and we'll just have a full track map as well, so we can see all the cars out there. Yellow flags into sector 1. I think that's just cars positioning themselves. So yeah, Joro, Blue, Mikey straight up there into the top 3 again. Evil Master only on a 59 at the moment. You'd expect him to pick up the pace a little bit, judging by last week. Multi and Phil both out there straight onto the medium tyres. And Giraffe looking pretty decent so far. A little bit of traffic ahead. There's a McLaren and a Williams, so hopefully they'll not hinder him too much. They, I believe, are returning to the pits. I think it's Phil and Multi actually. So yeah, going to peel off into the pits, not cost him too much time. And coming through the final corner, he's going to leaving plenty of track to the left-hand side. He's going to come across the line with a 16.2. Slots just ahead of the other two medium-tyred runners. Let's have a look at Nika, who I think has just set a lap actually. Yeah, 1:16.8. We'll try and pick up Frenzy. Is invalidated again. The Entity, he's already made it further than he did last week. But, he's invalidated so far. Wonder if this is perhaps an out lap though. We're getting some predictions in already. Giraffe for the win here, and Forza Multi. Ben Gosden saying, I agree, serious potential. I assume that is referring to Giraffe. He's looking alright so far on those medium tyres, 16.2, so he's definitely got a little bit more time in the bag if he so chooses to go on to the softs. And the Entity is looking pretty solid so far. He crashed out early on in qualifying last week, so we never really got to see what he could manage. But he's coming through now into the turns 7 and 8 chicane. Tricky little corner, just keeping the rear in check, and then it's an almost flat out if you're on it. A little bit of a confidence lift in there though, and he's down now towards the old style turn 10 now. Tight left-hander, second gear. 11 and 12. The rear does get loose through there over that little crest. We've got a car off track to the left that I believe was Hagrid Banter, yet to set a time. Clumsy little couple of corners to end the lap through 14 and 15 chicane. Second gear, left right. Traction is a little bit difficult on the exit, again through the final corner, which is nothing really these days. Across the line he goes with a 16.0, puts him into 6th place so far. And we'll try and pick up a couple of the guys further back. It's Cryptox on a lap. That looked all Larry and a little bit sideways, didn't it, through the final sector. So the first time we're seeing Williams this season. A little bit of grass, that won't help him come through the final chicane, and he's into the pits. Yeah, both Williams missing from the season opener. It's good to have Multi and Cryptox back on the grid. We've got Castle as well then, who is your race winner from last week. He was a little bit anonymous, racing under a different name, but he yeah, got his season off to a very good start indeed for the AlphaTauri team. As we come on board then, he's on the medium tyres as well, and setting what is a pretty decent first sector time, letting it run out through turn 4, turn 5, trying not to lock that inside front, but not succeeding on this occasion. Still got it in pretty well, so not too much of a worry. Turn 7 and 8, as we've seen, is a little bit Larry. Yep, still yellow flags all over the place as drivers try to find the best track position for a clean lap. Plenty out on track at the moment with 10 minutes remaining. Final couple of corners then for Castle. The AlphaTauri team looked very strong in Hungary. They're leading the Constructors' Championship on 69 points already from the opening race, and they are 30 ahead of Renault, who both Renault drivers actually were in the AlphaTauri last season, of course. But yeah, big upturn in form for them, and Wazza finally delivering on that pace in Hungary to put it on the podium. And I'll try and just get the rest of the results up from Hungary. We'll run through those while we have potentially a little bit of downtime. We've got Phil out there on softs, actually. Is he about to complete a lap? I think he is. He's coming across the line. Where's this going to put him? Only 7th so far. So still behind Castle on those mediums. Jero improves a little bit, 15-1 once again. And who could we see who's not put a lap in yet? Nullboy. He's in the second sector, and there's a little bit of traffic ahead of one of the Haas cars. And that can only be Adidas, I believe, because we are missing HIMS this week. DRS open for Nullboy then in the racing point. Hopefully those cars won't get in the way, and there's an AlphaTauri that's taken the old track there, so yeah, well out of the way, and should be okay at this point. Turn 12 seems to go on forever through 13 now, trying to avoid that big sausage curb on the inside, left and right to end the lap. Car in front gets out of the way and peels into the pit lane. Nullboy through the final corner. What's he going to manage to put on the board? It's a 16-1 on the outskirts of the top 10 so far. And can we find anyone on a lap who's yet to set? Well, we've got Hagrid Banter, who we've seen off the track a little bit earlier on. Mikey staying out of the way. Well done. A little bit wide, just missed the apex of 9. Got onto the curb on the exit. Will cost him a little bit of time. But down to second gear now for turn 10. Oh, well out of shape once again. That's, I think, actually where we saw him off earlier, wasn't it? The outside of 12, so very, very lucky to hang on to it this time. Just a little bit of a, yeah, overdriving just a little bit at this stage. Hanging the back end out through the final corner. He is going to get a lap on the board this time. And it's going to be a 15-9 to go 4th at the moment. I'd say there's a little bit more time in that if he, yeah, probably just backs it off a little bit. We've got F1 Lover, appears to have been validated. We've got Cryptox in the pits. We've got LaRue in the pits. They're the drivers not to set a time so far. Entity to crash out first lap. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's a bit of an improvement for Ferrari this time. Currently sitting only ahead of the absent Williams team on 3 points in the Constructors' Championship. And we'll just check what's going on here. And we've got LaRue taking a very steady outlap as it stands. And he's got one of them McLarens behind him. Could that be Phil? It is. We've got some support for the AlphaTauris out there. I don't think they necessarily need too much of it. Look to be a very strong pairing. So yeah, Castle leading on 40 points after that first Hungarian race. Wazza, yeah, P2, getting, I believe, his first podium in RLH. Evil Master went from pole to 3rd in the end, and Adidas 4th. Giraffe was 5th last week, so he'll be hoping to improve by 4 positions if he's going to fulfill the predictions that we've got. A couple of predictions for that in the chat. And then Hagrid Banter, actually. We've lost King of Talk. So for the second week in a row, we have a Ferrari in the wall in qualifying, and it looks like he dropped it on the exit of turn 9. We're going to go on board with Phil. He's got a Williams up ahead, but yeah, backing off to get himself a little bit of space. Hopefully no one comes out of the pits into that. There is, I believe, one car coming out of the pits, just out of the garage, but he's well clear of that. And down into turn 1, he's going to take a lot of that entry curb, looking for the 50-metre board, all the way down to 4th gear. Turn 2, trying not to lose the rear on that left-hand curb. Turn 3 is absolutely flat out, lets it run quite wide. And again, he's going to take that entry curb into 4. Purple first sector for Phil. 4th gear, letting it run out as far as he dare onto the edge of the grass. Down all the way down to 2nd gear. A little bit of a lock-up through turn 5. And oh, he's invalidated there on the exit by the looks of things. So that's not good if that is indeed the case. Phil will have to go again. He's got 4.5 minutes remaining. Whether he has... He's gone out on a set of mediums earlier, didn't he? So he should have another set of softs remaining. That shouldn't be too much of an issue. We've got Castle on a lap on the softs then, your race winner from last week. What can he manage on the red-walled soft tyres? Sticking to a much tighter line through 3 than we saw from Phil a moment ago, and he's going almost a tenth quicker so far. Purple first sector. Down into turn 5 again, all the way down to second gear, shifting very quickly though back up to 3rd and 4th for the better traction. Using every bit of the track and then some. A little bit of grass on the exit, on the entry to turn 7. Once again, right up against the grass through 9. Absolutely flat out. DRS open. Looking for just about the 100 metre board down to second gear. Very clumsy turn 10 in that old configuration. 11 and 12. Again, just keep turning right and right and right. 13. Yep. Try and avoid taking too much of that inside curb. He gets away with it nicely. Left and right. Just clipping those sausage curbs. And he comes through. Accelerating out of the final corner. He's going to come across the line. It's going to be a 15.3. Not quite enough to topple Joro so far. And can we pick anyone else up? We've got F1 Lover on a lap. He's out there on the mediums. Despite only having 3 minutes of the session remaining. I wonder if he's committing himself to a lower grid swap, but that's a gamble. He wouldn't want to be starting 19th, that's for certain. Out of 9. All pretty neat and tidy. Looking reasonable. He's just snatched a braking on a little bit wide from 10. That will cost him time. Again, missing the apex of 11. Just a little bit scrappy this lap from the man who sits at the bottom so far, the only man not to have set a time with 2.5 minutes remaining. I wonder if he's going to peel into the pits, stick a set of softs on if he has them. No, he's going to complete the lap, so that's his qualifying over then, unless he's got fuel for one more lap after this. 17.1 puts him only 16th. So yeah, he'd have been hoping for better than that. Well, we've got Cryptox on a set of mediums as well, so I don't think he's going to be worrying the top of the table there. Joro going back out for a final run, and we've got Castle then, and he will get out for another run. It's going to be tight, 40 seconds left. I think that's probably his qualifying over. And we've got Blue on an in-lap by the looks of things. So as Frenzy retires from the session, have we got anyone on fast laps? We've got the Entity going a little bit quicker in the final sector now, so it won't be too long before we find out where he's going to end up. Oh, a little bit, clip that curve and just got a little bit of oversteer. Hopefully, oh yeah, just invalidated on that exit curb. So we'll go to Adidas then, who looks to be improving, is he? No. It's all gone a little bit stale so far. Nicker's on a lap, we'll follow him to the second sector time. We'll try and keep an eye on the leaderboard as well. I think we've got Joro coming round to start a lap now. No, that's the other Mercedes of F1 Lover returning to the pits. And yeah, Joro now through the final corner. Nicker matching his time, but not really improving. So, Nellboy again matching. Adidas is on an in-lap by the looks of things. The Entity is as well. We've got Phil on an out-lap. Wazza, what can he manage? I'm just checking with Mikey. Yeah, he's matching his time so far as well. Wazza's a quarter of a second up though. We'll go on board into the final sector. Looked like a very decent middle part of the lap for the Renault driver. Now he's just got to keep it all neat and tidy. Very easy to overdrive this final sector. You just got to let the car do the work through here. A little bit of curb. Short shifting up to third. Gets the power down. Through the final corner, what's he going to manage? Looks like he's going to bump him up a little bit. And he goes P4 on a 115.461. We've seen the last of Multi as well. He's retired from the session. Oh, an Evil Master gets it all wrong through turn 2. And that is him not going any further either. Needs to make sure he doesn't get in the way of any other cars. I think he's found a little bit of space to send that round. In fact, has Multi put it in the wall on the exit of turn 9? I've just seen a Williams there. So maybe it wasn't a deliberate retirement. As Blue goes fastest. We missed that one. Oh, it's 1/1000th quicker than Joro. Can we find the Mercedes? And he's invalidated. He's pitting. And Hagrid Banter now goes across the line. Just as we switched away from him, he comes across the line and snatches pole, it seems. from his teammate right at the death. Wazza, I'm pretty sure, is in on an in-lap. Evil Master we've seen backwards, so unless Adidas, which we may see something yet, the Haas driver through the final corner. Oh, a little bit of curb, just got the pack end out. I don't think it's going to be enough. No, a 16.0, he improves a little, but only P10. Whew. That was a hectic end then. Got a little bit stale in the middle, as we thought people were struggling to improve, but no, a flurry of times at the end, and the two Alfa Romeos end up locking out the front row. Phil in P11 will be happy with that as well. He'll take a fresh set of tyres into the race, and we'll be looking at almost certainly a one-stop with that. And yeah, that's qualifying for you. So Alfa Romeo, yeah, first and second on the grid. They're currently P7 in the Constructors' Championship for C4. Obviously we have the overall championship as well, which any well-prepared commentator would have ready for you. So obviously I don't. And try and find that one out. And they're actually doing pretty well in the other tiers. They're sitting second just behind the Mercedes team on the overall standings so far, on 150 to the Mercedes 221. So the Alfa boys throughout RLH will be very happy with that qualifying, and it won't be too long before we see if they can carry it over to the race. So yeah, who else had a good session? AlphaTauri fourth, and despite Evil Master dropping out on his final lap, he will line up 7th. So yeah, definite chance of big points again for them. Renault second as well. They are 6th and 9th with Wazza and Mikey. So again, chance of solid points if they can keep it on the road. And got a couple of racing points lining up next to each other as well. 13th and 14th. And Giraffe in the Red Bull. Is he on his own in the Red Bull, I wonder? I believe there's a Red Bull right down the back. And again, anyone well prepared would be able to tell you who that was. It's Frenzy, of course, in the other Red Bull. It looks pretty bright and sunny then, as we join the drivers once again for the race. Yeah, looking at a couple of the messages there. The Alfa Romeo boys pretty happy with that one. Yeah, Joro and Blue just 1/1000th of a second apart for P2 and 3. Just try and catch up with a couple of the comments as we wait for the drivers to lock in their race strategies. First season on the wheel apparently for Giraffe, so yeah, doing pretty well if he's only recently switched over. And we're away for the formation lap then. We'll get a few details up. We'll see what tyres they're all starting on. Yeah, pretty much as expected. So Frenzy's gone for the hard right down the back in 19th place, but everyone else has gone for the mediums, apart from obviously the top 10, who are obliged to use their qualifying tyres for the first stint. And with that in mind, we'll get the position change ready. As yeah, Hagrid Banter then leads them round at a pretty hot pace for this formation lap. He's leaving them behind, to be fair. And yeah, we've got Giraffe. He might have done a pretty stellar job in qualifying. He's struggling to keep up with these guys on the formation lap so far. Hopefully we start backing things up pretty soon. We've got Wazza. Yeah, Wazza definitely backing up the pack. Yeah, if the Alphas aren't careful, they're going to be sat on the line for quite a while. Definitely stretch things out, but luckily the back markers seem to be on that train at least. So yeah, hopefully we'll get on the grid, and no, won't be too long before we can get underway for round 2 of 9, I believe, this season. Pretty short season, obviously, with the F1 2020 soon coming to an end. We'll be making preparations to get underway on 2021 in the not too distant future. And we just see a comment coming on as they line up. Shack Attack saying good luck to all our C4 drivers. As finally they are around the final corner and just about everyone in position. When is the giraffe merch coming out? It depends how well he does in this race. If he's P1 at the end of lap 1, we might have to get something going. We've got red lights about to come on though. A little bit of a delay. Here we go. Lights are coming on. We've got 4 lights. We've got 5. And we are racing again in RLH. Once again, a lot of smoke. We'll just about see Hagrid banter through that, and he's got away well, but the other one, Blue, is falling back into the pack. We've got Castle and Joro making a good move. Oh, we've got a Renault right at the inside. Is that Wazza? Hopefully no front. Oh, he's off. Yep. Got a little bit ambitious into turn 1. Went for the dive, and unfortunately he's come worse off out of that. Hagrid banter, though, leads us away into turn 4. Joro second, Castle still third. And yeah, Blue dropped a couple of places as we've seen. We've got virtual safety car as a result of that contact into turn 1. And who else is the big winners? Mikey's gone up 3. Evil Master stays where he started. Multi likewise. Adidas up 1. Phil up 1. F1 Lover's gone up 4 positions. So that's pretty impressive. And the big loser, of course, is unfortunately Wazza, down 13. And big damage on that Renault as well. Yeah, completely missing the front wing, but virtual safety car at least helps him stick somewhat close to the pack, as King of Torque picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. We're not even halfway around the lap and we've been under VSC for most of it, so yeah, not entirely sure how that's come about. But Hagrid banter then already, despite the virtual safety car. We're coming round to finish lap 1, and we've got a car off as well. Got Adidas to the inside of turn 12. Wonder if there was any contact, but yeah, Wazza recovering down the back as well already though. We got your winner from last week, and wait, this is the, yeah, it's not Castle, is it? It's Joro getting close to the lead. We've got the leaderboard issue, just making things a little bit tricky for us to cycle through these drivers at the moment, but Joro is very much all over the back of Hagrid banter. Hopefully when we come through the first sector this will reset itself and we can get a little bit of a different view. And yeah, here we go, on board with Joro now. All over the back of the Alfa Romeo. Hagrid just seeming to struggle in these opening laps as he tries to get the tyres and everything up to temperature and get into a bit of a rhythm. A little bit of grass there, that won't help him on the entry to turn 7. And we've definitely got a 3-car train up the front with Hagrid, Joro and Castle, as Wazza out of the pits with a new front wing, and we've lost Nicker as well in that somewhere. Has he got damage? No. Has he been into the pits? No. Not entirely sure where we've lost Nicker, but back to the front. We've got Joro, I think, will be lining up a move down into turn 1. And we've got a lot of cars very close together in the pack as well, so we will be going back to have a look at that in just a moment. But Joro, I think we're going to see a move here. Hagrid covers the inside line. Can Joro take the racing line and go all the way around the outside? Not quite. But it's, yeah, it looks like a move that's coming, doesn't it? Hagrid really struggling. And yeah, can't even reach the apex of turn 3. He's gone very wide. Sweeps back to the right-hand side now to cover turn 4. But Joro, I think it's a question of when rather than if. And again, he's tighter through turn 4. Can't go anywhere through 5, though. Hagrid just about putting himself in the right position there, but definitely struggling to keep the Mercedes behind. Castle there, your race winner from last week, your championship leader, just holding station at the moment, seeing if anything kicks off up the front that he can take advantage of. Joro kicking up a little bit of dust. Castle just running a little bit wide there. We'll give Giraffe a bit of confidence. He's gained that 1 place, of course. And big lock-up from the AlphaTauri ahead. Great start for Team Merck. Yeah, very good start for Mercedes. F1 Lover up to 10th on those mediums, so he'll be going a long way in this first stint. And yeah, Joro, as we've seen, pushing very much for the race lead, and he's even closer this time through. Final corner once again. We're coming round and we've got more yellow flags, and oh, it's a Ferrari, unfortunately. We've lost King of Torque in the same position. Turn 12 once again. And Joro, though, is through. So it's an even better start for Mercedes as Joro takes the lead with DRS then for the first time. Easy move in the end with that wing flap open. I'm not sure, are we seeing any more moves yet? We've seen Phil up through past Multi. And Mikey on the back of Evil Master, but struggling to keep it on the track there, just understeered clean off the road in the first of the Renaults. And what's going on up there? Is that blue on the back of Giraffe? We've got more yellow flags, and that's Nicker once again by the looks of things. Has dropped it through turn 2. Once again looks damage free, but not the cleanest of starts for Nicker. Joro, though, has already put, as Castle's got ahead of Hagrid Banter as well, actually, then. So, yeah, Joro already almost 2 seconds clear. Just trying to keep up with a couple of the comments, yep. And through 11 and 12. Doesn't want to take too much of that curve. We've seen a couple of cars spitting already through there. Doesn't want to make it a third. Giraffe, though, is lining him up. He's about to have DRS. I think Hagrid will get it as well, though, from Castle. So the AlphaTauri might actually be a bit of a sitting duck here. Giraffe just losing a little bit through that chicane. King of Torque picking up another penalty. Very early for that. DRS is open here then. And are we going to see Hagrid Banter manage to get one of these positions back? Pulls to the inside, not quite close enough to the AlphaTauri to make a move. And we'll just catch up with a bit of the order then. We've got Blue in P5, Evil Master P6, Mikey, Phil, Multi, F1 Lover, The Entity. And then the 2 racing points of Nelboy leading LaRue this time. Cryptox in the second of the Williams. Adidas following that spin is in P15, and Frenzy leads the 3 that have had trouble, King of Torque, Nicker and Wazza. But yeah, back up the front. Giraffe still doing a pretty good job for the fans. P4 so far. 5 laps now on these tyres as the Entity picks up a penalty to join his teammate on some track limit warnings. What a great shot as we come through the final sector here. Oh, we've got another car round. Oh, just about misses Mikey. And yeah, unfortunately Blue then he's going to have to wait for almost the entire field to go past him. Hopefully won't get disqualified for sitting still there. No, he's underway. But what a loss that was for him. As we see, again, a couple of moves. What's happening here? We've got cars in the pits. We've got Giraffe in the pits. And we've got little Mikey in the pits as well then. What are they going to put on? Centre of the mediums, probably. Yeah, pretty much confirming they are going for a 2-stop strategy. And Giraffe's put another set of the softs on. That's interesting. These ones only got him 5 laps. So that's adventurous. But let's have a look what's happening back up the front. We've got Multi still on the back of Phil. A little bit of a lock-up from the McLaren, but yeah, solid drives for these 2 so far. Phil on mediums, Multi starting on the softs, of course. Phil and Castle picks up a penalty, actually, so he was very good at not picking up penalties last week, which was part of the reason why he got himself into a position to win the race, as well as yeah, just staying out of trouble and taking advantage of the safety car when it came. But yeah, Phil looking in a pretty decent position here on those mediums, and as is F1 Lover, to be fair. He was a little bit ragged in qualifying, but so far keeping things pointing in the right direction, and on those medium yellow striped tyres is definitely looking in a position to finish quite well, as Multi pits and Hagrid Banter as well. No, not Multi. It's, yeah, Hagrid Banter, Evil Master and Adidas in this time. So Phil now up to 3rd, Multi 4th, and F1 Lover in 5th. Things starting to shuffle a bit now with the first pit stops going, and I'm pretty sure everyone's put the medium tyres on, apart from, as we saw at Giraffe then, going for soft. As we've got more yellow flags, and that's once again, I think we've lost blue. Yeah. Oh, he beached there. Through turn 2, and there's a Haas coming up behind him, which will probably relegate him further still. So yeah, not a great first few laps for blue, having done a great job in qualifying. It's all gone a little bit wrong for him so far, but a long way to go. It's only on lap 7 of 33. We're with your leader now, who's opened up a 4.6 second lead, and that's actually more than that. It's about 8 seconds net then with the penalty behind him, but Castle is in. He's going to get those soft tyres off and hopefully gets it slowed down to the pit limit, which he does. And about halfway down the pits, he's going to find his AlphaTauri mechanics waiting for him with a set of medium tyres as well then. As the 2 racing points come through, up to 6th and 7th. Doing a very good job so far, solid stuff. About 1.8 seconds between them, and yeah, your medium runners then, who started outside the top 10, are now coming to the forefront. And a little bit of a scrap going on here between Multi, the Entity, and F1 Lover. Nelboy just plugging himself onto the back of that. Agribanta picks up a penalty as well. So yeah, more bad news for the Alfa Romeo team. It all looked so good for them just a few moments ago at the end of qualifying. You have to say now it's Mercedes really in the pound seats as it stands. Joro I think we'll see in this time probably, Multi as well. Going to get those soft tyres off. They're the only 2 remaining that started on them. Completed 8 laps now, and Joro I think is continuing once again though. So he's wanting to put himself in a better position further into the race. Maybe even trying to stretch it for a soft hard one-stop strategy. And we've got a bit of a move lining up here, haven't we? We've got F1 Lover on the Entity. Ferrari's got the DRS as well, though, so it's going to be a little bit of an adventurous one if he can get there. Not quite, just about keeps all the parts on his front wing. But yeah, Joro is away and gone at the moment and can afford to go a little bit longer on these softs, and as we say, try and maybe even think about putting a set of the hards on to stick to the one-stop strategy. At the moment, of course, he's going to match Phil effectively then, if he stays out longer. He's going to go to a one-stop and stick the hards on, which will be Phil's plan. Phil's picked up a penalty as well somewhere, we've missed that. So that is not ideal for him. But Joro, are we going to see him in this lap? It's very steady through this final sector. Maintaining the gap at around 8 seconds though, so he's still got some pace in the car. We've got Frenzy perhaps lining up a move on Cryptox. Those hard tyres just about starting to come into their own for the Red Bull. So his teammate just a few seconds behind him on new softs, so you want to get on with it to avoid having to jump out of the way. And don't tell me we've lost Wazza once again. Unfortunately we have, and he has got damage once again as well. So he's dropped it through turn 7. And he's going to have to... we have got Joro in the pits now. Multi continues and has quite a train behind him actually. So Multi stretching those softs as far as he dare. He's got the Entity and F1 Lover and Nelboy now all over the back of him. So yeah, Wazza then going to have to crawl back round to the pits and hopefully can stay on the lead lap, which I believe he should. So if we were to get a safety car, you never know. But he will lose out to Blue, who's just pitted and put the medium tyres on. Multi now though is going to be, I think, a bit of a sitting duck. We've got the Entity, no, just not quite quick enough in a straight line or brave enough on the brakes. So yeah, a bit of a multi-train forming until he gets off those soft tyres. Just a little bit of patience behind him on these medium cars that are going longer, of course, as Blue sets the fastest lap of the race, but unfortunately he's lost so much time already. Multi finally pits and lets these guys go. That's helped Phil a little bit though, as he continues on his way. Now 4.5 seconds ahead of F1 Lover, because he's swap that position. So one Mercedes pits from the lead and the other one takes over second place. Hagrid Banter we're taking. No, that's Multi coming out of the pits. So where's he going to rejoin? He has gone for the hards then. So Multi is going to try and go to the end. We've seen, yeah, Joro also came in for the hard tyres. So we've got a little bit of a mix of strategies as he comes out very nicely just ahead of King of Torque. So Multi in 6 seconds of clear air. That works well for him. But yeah, so we've got a mix of strategies. We've got some soft mediums. We've got Frenzy out there on, I assume, a hard medium, or maybe even a hard soft by the time he gets to the end. We've got Multi and Joro on soft hards, and of course we've got the majority of what are now the front runners out there doing medium to hard one stoppers. And we've even got Giraffe doing a soft medium by the looks of things. As Phil comes through the final chicane, maintaining that gap at around 4.5 to 5 seconds. And we've got the Entity now. He's going to have the DRS on F1 Lover, and is he going to repay the favour just 1 lap later? Staying out of the slipstream. He's got, yeah, not a lot of energy left in that battery, but he's just about going to use it to get up the inside into turn 1 and retake that position. LaRue has joined his teammate on the back of this pack as well now, so the 2 racing points are very much line astern. Doing a good job so far, and unfortunately they're a little bit boxed in now. The Entity seems to be a bit of a cork in the bottle, even with Multi out the way. He's not managed to drop these cars behind. And we'll just drop back a little bit because we've got Joro coming through the pack. Oh, Cryptox just a little bit wide, kicking up some gravel there on the exit of turn 5. Joro is going to have the DRS. Is he going to be able to get past Cryptox though down into turn 10? Just a little bit wide, scrubbing the speed off, and drops back a little too far to do anything about it. You'd expect him though to take the position down into turn 1. Lining up the Williams through turns 12, 13, 14 and 15. And I think Wazza has pitted and come out behind Phil, so he has just dropped a lap. But of course those, well, Phil will have to pit fairly soon. And Cryptox actually just grabbed the DRS off Frenzy through that final sector, so Joro will have to wait a little bit longer. So the guy who was your net race leader, although it's a little bit hard to say where he will end up because of, as I say, the amount of strategies we've got going, and that's another Alfa Romeo off-track moment. I think it was it Hagrid Banter? I think it could have been. Yeah, Joro still stuck behind Cryptox, who seems to drop out of the DRS for this one as he picks up a penalty. Seems to drop out of the DRS zone to Frenzy ahead of him through here, but seems to have a little bit more pace than the Red Bull through the final sector, which means Joro's stuck with Cryptox also having the DRS down the main straight. Oh, very close. Doesn't want to be knocking any front wing off at this stage. But, yeah, unfortunately, everything seems to be very much like F1 at the weekend. A bit of a train at the moment. Are we going to see... Yeah, he's dropped out of the DRS now to Frenzy, as we see Giraffe already pitting to get off of those softs. And we've got LaRue in the pits as well, have we? Yep, as Joro now then, with Cryptox not having the DRS, Joro makes a pretty simple move before turn 1. Yeah, so Giraffe now onto the hard, so soft, hard. That's a interesting strategy. We'll see if he has more tyres left than the rest of them towards the end. But, yeah, definitely a bit of an oddball on that. He's rolled the dice. Frenzy is the one, of course, who started on the hard tyres. He's still going just ahead of Joro. We'll go back to this little 3-car fight up the front, spread out just a little bit. Entity, F1 Lover and Nellboy. So, yeah, a couple of penalties, well, a few penalties scattered around the field so far, but nothing like the extent to which we saw in Hungary, which is good to see. And what are we on now? Coming around to start lap 1:15. I wonder if we're going to see any of the medium tyres starting to think about pitting. Almost half distance, of course, now. Like 15 of 33. So as you can see, Wazza just behind Phil. He's actually closing in on him, I think. So maybe in a position to unlap himself pretty soon. Nellboy's up to second because we've got the Entity and F1 Lover into the pits as Mikey picks up a 3-second time penalty, and we've got a penalty going on there as well for the Entity. I wonder if he was speeding into the pit lane or if he was perhaps speeding into the VSC. Would that give you a drive-through? I think he does, doesn't it? So it must have been speeding into the pit lane for the Entity. And let's find a little bit of action. Joro's found his way past Frenzy then. So fresh hard tyres have found their way past slightly older hard tyres. Who else do we need to be keeping an eye on the progress of? F1 Lover's dropped all the way back down to P11 with his stop. But still in good shape. Adidas on 7-lap old mediums, just half a second behind him. And LaRue's come out in a bit of clear air there as well. So it's a little bit of a lull now as we wait for the next sort of phase of pit stops. Giraffe out, get lion in apparently. Yeah, he's giving himself a bit of work to do. He's going to have to do some overtaking, but he will have perhaps a bit of an offset on tyres compared to some of those who are trying to stretch it to a one-stop. And we've got Nellboy and Cryptox in the pits now. Both have put the hard tyres on yet. And Nellboy, where's he going to come out? Ahead of his teammate, as expected. But just behind Adidas and F1 Lover. So Adidas, where did he start then? I need to find the right thing. There it is. He started 10th, so he's exactly where he started. And yeah, doing a solid job so far. But he will have to pit fairly soon, within the next sort of 5-6 laps maybe. And then go to the end. Multi picks up a penalty for multiple track limit warnings. Ooh, that looked a bit Larry on the top of 9, didn't it? Phil is in the pits, so Joro is going to take over the lead once again. Through the final corner, it's where's Phil going to feed back out then? He's going to be behind Frenzy, who's yet to pit. He's going to be behind Castle. He's going to be behind Evil Master, and he's going to be behind Mikey as well, by the looks of things. But these are all drivers who are doing soft, medium, medium 2 stops. He's going to feed back in just ahead of Hagrid Banter. Yeah, so P6 for Phil then, and he took those mediums a fairly long way, so he'll have no problem getting those hards to the end with decent pace. What have we got to see now? We've got Nellboy. Nellboy's got ahead of Adidas somewhere by the looks of things. And F1 Lover is now just about starting to catch Multi. So yeah, Mercedes and Williams. And yeah, we've seen obviously Bottas and Russell mating those two cars together at Imola. Hopefully nothing like that here in Barcelona. DRS open for F1 Lover as he moves to within about half a second of the Williams ahead of him. And will of course have DRS down towards turn 1 if he can maintain that gap. Nellboy not far off getting DRS as well, just over a second behind this pair. But, F1 Lover, reasonable run through the chicane, lost a little bit of time to Multi, but that DRS will put himself back within range as Phil takes the inside lines to get past Mikey into turn 1. And he's just a little too far behind. Evil Master picks up another penalty, I believe. So the penalties are starting to fill out now throughout the field. So once again, as with last week, if you can stay away from those white lines, then you might be in a position to gain a couple of positions or even several positions on the final lap of the race. And we've got Mikey on Hagrid Banter now. Oh, that was a very aggressive move to the inside, wasn't it? And I don't know if this is Mikey on Hagrid Banter or if Hagrid Banter's just got past Mikey. I think it might be Hagrid Banter has just taken this position. Both on fairly worn medium tyres at this point. Done a little bit over 10 laps. But, yeah, F1 Lover, as Joro picks up a penalty as well then. So most of the leaders now have picked up penalties. Oh, F1 Lover, big lock-up just about as it turned into 13. Again, another lock-up, and he's going to go straight across the final chicane. Backed off to ensure he didn't get an instant penalty. I'm not sure if he'll have got a warning for that. But that'll feed Nelboy a little bit of confidence, won't it? He's already now into the DRS. And yeah, F1 Lover just getting a little bit erratic. Giving that Racing Point a chance of gaining another position. Hagrid Banter is sticking with Mikey as Castle's got ahead of Frenzy by the looks of things. So yeah, lap 19 of 33, we've got quite a lot of strategy still to play out, and honestly, we have no idea where they're all going to meet in the middle. Let's just see the gap to the leader. Phil then is 10 laps off of Joro, with I believe the same number of penalties, and he's 10 seconds off him with 7 lap fresher tyres. So that could be one to watch. Hagrid Banter now getting very close to the back of Mikey, so this is definitely coming back at him. These two, yeah, not wanting to leave each other alone at the moment, and both pitting at the same time as well. So, yeah, holding each other's hands into the pits. Hopefully no contact as we get down to the speed limit line. We've got someone else in just ahead of us as well. That's Evil Master in the Alpha Tauri, and we've got Adidas coming in behind as well. 5-second penalty for him though for speeding in the pit lane. That won't help his cause at all. And who can we go with now? F1 Lover once again all over the back of Multi through sector 1, just a couple of tenths between them. And yeah, F1 Lover with no penalties will be wanting to get on his way. So he's sort of the net first car to have no penalties, isn't he? Because Frenzy will pit in the not too distant future. So it's F1 Lover and Nelboy in terms of not having penalties. Whether the cars ahead have enough to drop behind them, we'll have to wait and see. So, still on board with F1 Lover. Just a couple of tenths off Multi. It's not quite going to be close enough for a move down into turn 10. But he's definitely lining himself up, and there is no traffic ahead that Multi would be able to get the DRS down the start-finish straight. And F1 Lover playing around with the settings on the wheel there, as we've got a Ferrari of King of Torque, I believe, off at turn 2. Yeah, F1 Lover looked like he was changing some settings and just missed the apex of turn 11 and 12, which may have just cost him a little bit of time to Multi and any sort of chance of getting through at turn 1. So still, once again, it's Multi, F1 Lover and Nelboy very much together on track, and yeah, once again, just missing a couple of car lengths. F1 Lover, Multi doing a very good job of using his various tools, such as his fuel maps, of course, and his energy recovery to keep the position as it stands. F1 Lover on 4 lap fresher tyres, so you'd expect him to have a little bit more pace than Multi, but that will start to even itself out. So who has to pit again? Castle definitely has to pit again, as does Frenzy, because he's not pitted at all yet. And then the likes of Phil, Multi, F1 Lover, Nelboy, The Entity, LaRue and Giraffe will all definitely go to the end. Evil Master should go to the end on that set of mediums. And I think that's probably about it. I think everyone else is probably sort of expecting to see this one out. Not sure on Nickery, might struggle on 6 lap old mediums. Blue will have to pit again at some point, obviously, on those 12 lap old mediums. Again, a little bit of a lock up for F1 Lover as we watch him once again try to line up Multi. As yeah, we see those two pitting then, Castle and Frenzy in on the same lap. Medium tyres for Frenzy, medium tyres for Castle as well. F1 Lover not quite close enough to Multi to make a move into turn 1. And we've got Giraffe coming just ahead of his teammate there. So Frenzy, despite starting right down the back, has ended up line of stern with his teammate and on better tyres towards the end of this race. Adidas sets the fastest lap of the race in 18.6. And it's showing Nailboy's going up a position. He's very much still behind the Multi and F1 Lover battle. They'll be hoping for a little bit of action up the front and maybe able to nick a podium here, as we've got yellow flags. We've got Hagrid Banter out of the race. He's dropped it on the exit of turn 5, and we've got a safety car. So that closes things up nicely, doesn't it? And that's bad news for Joro and probably Multi. In fact, it's great news for Phil if he can get in and out, because Joro's missed the pit lane as the entity picks up a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. That's not good at all. So, yeah, Phil's in, Multi's in. They're all in, actually. Where is Castle going to be? Because he's just pitted, of course. I don't think I'd have pitted if I was on 5 lap old hards. I think I'd have took the track position. Yeah. Phil, I can understand it. Multi, I could have understood it. I think if I was Nell or F1 Lover, I'd have probably gambled on staying out. I think they may have put themselves back in the pack there. Multi's gone all in on the softs. But Joro, very much under pressure now. He does have a gap that will maintain, of course, because of the delta. So he will have a chance to get in himself. Whether he comes out ahead of Phil will depend on what sort of pace they're allowed to go out by that delta. I think he may just get away with it. Yeah, you can see he's being really badly restricted by the delta at the moment, isn't it? King of Torque just ahead of him as well. It's going to depend on how quickly these Mercedes boys can get to work. I think he might just be safe though. As Phil, it's going to depend on, yeah, I was going to say King of Torque coming slowly into the pits won't have helped him. But I think, oh, Nell! Nell boys picked up a drive-through for speeding under the safety car, and that, with the pack so bunched up and so close to the end, is pretty much game over. So unfortunate. I've seen the entity fall foul to that as well. But yeah, Joro's in and out and already down at turn 1, so he's got away with that no problem. And that, I think, sort of kills the end of the race a little bit. We're going to see some pretty hot pace from Multi, I would imagine, on the softs. But yeah, I'm surprised someone like F1 Lover didn't stick it out there and take track position off these boys like Phil, Castle, and well, Frenzy. What a result for him. He's yeah, very much benefited from that. Pitted 1 lap before the safety car, of course, and then they've all pitted once again, and most of them come out behind him. So Adidas into the pits, puts on a set of the soft tyres as well. Nick has also gone for those red walled tyres. So it's going to be lap 25 of 33 by the time we get back round. We've still got quite a spread pack. We've still got cars in the final set there even, Wazza and King of Torque. So this very much benefits those who have no penalties. And Frenzy, despite, I think, starting dead last, has got no penalties. He's on exactly the same tyres, barring a lap. And yeah, he's very much up at the front of the field. As we saw last week, staying out of trouble, and a well-timed safety car might just be the ticket to a race victory. So I wonder if we could yet see a Red Bull on the top step, even if unfortunately it's not looking like it will be Giraffe. Not at this stage anyway. It'll need something pretty strange to happen, as all the drivers are starting to weave around. Nelboy into the pits. I'm not sure if he can serve the penalty. Yeah, I don't think he can. You shouldn't be able to in F1, where the Codemaster lets you tends to do its own thing. You can definitely serve 5-second penalties in the pits. So Nelboy's sort of assumed that he's going to be down the back after his penalty anyway, and gone and stuck a set of the softs on to maybe try and nick a fastest lap. But yeah, so he could stop someone else getting it, I suppose. But he needs to be in the top 10 if he's going to get the point for that, of course. So unfortunately, yeah, it's all fallen apart. 10 laps from the end for him. So Joro still follows the safety car around. We'll just get a bit of an idea of who's on what penalty was. Joro is on 1. Phil on 1. Kessel has a drive-through. Don't think he served that either. Frenzy obviously has none. Evil Master has 1. And Multi has 1. So most of these guys have just 1 penalty. So it is pretty much on track. As long as they can get 3 seconds ahead of Frenzy, we are racing for the win on track here. If they can all stay on track. And not get a little bit naughty over those various curbs and white lines. Safety car's in this lap, so Joro will take over the pace up the front. Hopefully everyone's aware of that and no contact in the pack. When's Joro going to bolt? I think out of the chicane, is he? No, he's keeping them very much bunched up. He can't stop and start again, so when he goes, he's got to commit to it. He's going to try and catch them out, and he's gone. But Phil's very much with him. As we get a little bit of contact down the back, unfortunately. But yeah, Phil's gone with him. And can he gain a position? And Frenzy's losing out already to Evil Master. So the two AlphaTauris, once again, very much up the front of the field. Phil can't do anything about Joro yet, though. He's definitely sticking with him. But we've got a car in the wall. Who was that? That's Castle. That's your race winner from last time out. And Nelboy's retired as well in the pit lane by the looks of things. So yeah, massive shame for him. But yeah, that's big for AlphaTauri. They're going to lose points because of that. And F1 Lover as well. We've got F1 Lover and Wazza around at turn 4. Wazza, I don't think, had any damage, but has F1 Lover? No, seems to have got away with it. But yeah, everything's come to life here. And we've got Castle off again at turn 4. What on earth's going on? Back to the front, we've got Joro and Phil still within a second of each other, so there might be some DRS to come in a couple of laps. We've got Multi on those soft tyres. We're forgetting about him, aren't we? All over the back of Evil Master. These soft tyres might just prove the ticket. We've got a bit of support for Multi in the stream as well. So what can he manage? Can he get himself onto the podium? Pretty much penalties all the way down the field now, so everything pretty much balances itself out. Just lost a little bit of time. We've got more yellow flags. I think Castle must have damage, surely. Yeah, he's lost a lot of front wing. As Joro just gets himself out of that DRS zone, ready for, I believe, the next lap it will come into play. So yeah, everything's just sort of strung out a little bit here. As all of a sudden, we said it needs something pretty insane. Giraffe's back up to P6. It might yet be on. We've got Mikey as well trying to salvage some points. Wazza's back up to P11, despite being all over the place on that restart and yeah, having a pretty terrible start to the race. It looks like he'll probably still pick up some points here. Some decent points at that as well. With the point system obviously down to 15th place. But Multi is definitely the man to keep an eye on. At 27 of 33, we've got even though Nell retired in the pits, his car has gone back out on track. Hopefully it doesn't get too much in the way. Just about all squeezed through there. I think it cost Phil maybe a little bit of time. But, yeah, usually those cars pull off pretty soon after retiring in the pits, so hopefully that does so, because at the moment it could be causing havoc, especially in that final sector. Getting in the way of things a little bit. But, yeah, it's an unfortunate glitch with this game, and yeah, I think he's back into the pits now, so yeah, hopefully that car will be out of the way for good. And we've got Phil Evil Master and Multi battling it out for second, third and fourth by the looks of things. F1 Lover picks up another penalty. So yeah, Joro looks to be away and gone up the front. He was frustrated last week to get caught out in the safety car and pick up a little bit of damage after that as well, but it seems to have worked out for him this time, as unfortunately once again that Racing Point returns to the track. So yeah, hopefully it'll keep a decent pace up and we won't see too much of it in the lead battle for the remainder of the race. But Multi still 6/10 behind Evil Master, who's just about sticking within the DRS of Phil at the moment. Just gets it turned in there, was at risk of running a little bit wide, but Multi has managed to just about stick with Evil Master. Needs a good run through this final sector, through this final chicane, if he's going to look at getting ahead of him. We've got more yellow flags. That's that Racing Point again in sector 1, and it's finally off track. So yeah, it has finally pulled off and should reset back to the pits. But once again, no real moves happening, although Multi is very much in the slipstream here. He's got the overtake. No, he wasn't using the overtake, sorry, he had the DRS open. But yeah, not quite able to do anything about Evil Master yet, and was a little wide through 2, just lost a bit of time to the Alfa Tauri as well. We've got Nika on soft tyres, of course. We're forgetting about him. Nika has made some good progress. That safety car's helped a couple of them out, hasn't it? Those who've had trouble early on have managed to have a bit of a reset, wipe the slate clean, and go again towards the end of this race on fresh tyres. Got Adidas now on the back of Wazza as well. Has Wazza taken that position? He might have done. So we've got Multi on Evil Master as F1 Lover sets the fastest lap of the race. We've got Nika on Blue, and we've got potentially Adidas on Wazza, so it's all the soft tyre runners who are closest to those ahead of them at the moment. And we'll go back to Multi, as once again we're going to come round for another lap, but again Evil Master is close enough to Phil, and he's actually closer to Phil, so we'll go with him. He might be about to snatch second position here as we come across the line. Phil not having the DRS, of course, might be about to get eaten up by the pack behind him. He's gone defensive very early on. Evil Master's going to have to go the long way around. Goes to the outside. Can he brake late on the outside? Yep, sweeps in past Phil for second place. And now that's going to compromise Phil through turn 2 and 3 as well. Multi might just get a run at him. No chance for the McLaren to come back. He's very, very deep into turn 4. Couldn't quite get underneath Evil Master though. No space there. But, oh, big lock up from the Alfa Tauri into turn 5. And Phil is straight on the back of him. Oh! Trying to take advantage of that lock up through turn 5. But yeah, you could probably just do with a little bit more patience and wait for this DRS zone coming up. But yeah, it definitely looks like the DRS is pretty powerful, doesn't it? You're getting pretty punchy at the end of these zones. But Phil thinking better of it. And we'll wait for the DRS on the start-finish straight. All this, though, is helping Joro up the front. Multi picks up a penalty again, though, unfortunately, through turn 11. Not good for him. Yeah, Joro away and gone, really, up the front, especially with this battle. As Evil Master again, locking that inside front. Phil within the DRS zone. But just losing a little bit of time, but should be close enough. They're pretty even on overtake. In fact, Multi has the most of the lot of them. So, Phil should be starting to motor now in the slipstream, but once again, yeah, he's just running out of ERS. Couldn't get there. Multi has, as we say, a little bit more energy, but unfortunately has that extra penalty now as well. Phil trying to stay out of the dirty air of Evil Master ahead of him, but at the moment, the Alfa Tauri driver looking to pick up his second podium in 2 races. Consistency is what wins you titles, and at the moment, he's definitely racking up plenty of points. We've got Cryptox is behind Wazza now, so that could be one to watch. Nick has lost a little bit of time actually. Giraffe looks to be stuck behind this. It's Castle he's stuck behind, and Mikey just ahead of him. Back to the battle for P2 though, because it's very close. 3 cars covered by less than a second as we come into the final sector. Go with Phil, he's the closest, just 3/10 behind Evil Master as they come through. He needs a good run through the chicane, neat and tidy. Yeah, he's managed that very nicely. He's definitely a little bit closer than he was on the lap before. but once again struggling with overtake. They're both running out of ERS. They're both going to be clipping. Already you see those red lights flashing. What can Multi do? He's not got too much left himself. Phil, though, not quite, just running out of straight. As once again they come through turns 2 and 3 as they were. Not seeing too much action further down the field either. They seem to be spreading out towards the flag. So this battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th is the one to stick with. I think Multi is going to drop to the back of it on penalties as it stands anyway. So it's Evil Master versus Phil really for 2nd and 3rd. Multi, I think, just going to miss out on that podium. Unless these two pick up another penalty. We've got yellow flags. That's for one of the Ferraris, I think, running a little bit wide in turn 9. So DRS once again for Phil. He just needs to build up this ERS. He's really struggling with energy. Getting a little bit greedy on the overtake button. And as they come through, Hagrid Banter has left us, unfortunately. So, final couple of corners. Phil once again. And this is going to be his last full run down into turn 1. Jero sets the fastest lap of a 1:17.7, so he takes the point for that at the moment. Phil already, though. Yeah, once again running out of energy. He's going to be very close this time around, but just can't go anywhere. He's not got the straight line speed. Not close enough to throw it up the inside either. I think Eagle Master, unless he makes a mistake, might just have this position. Covering the inside line into turn 4 before returning back to the racing line. Phil's a little bit wide, getting a little bit scrappy. Don't think he's going to have enough time here. Evil Master putting his car in all the right places. Might just have this one won. Giraffe closing back in on Mikey. That might be one to watch as well towards the end of the lap. But Jero is into the final sector. Excuse me. And yeah, very clean race from Jero, despite the penalties picked up, as most of the field have, to be fair. Nicker might be on possibly to gain a couple of places, but Jero through the final couple of corners. There's a little bit of a scare around that safety car when he missed the pit lane as it came out, but Jero comes across the line to win the Spanish Grand Prix, picks up some major points to add to the 8 he scored last time out. Evil Master is going to hang on for 2nd place, and I'm sure we'll go to the top of the championship with that. Phil picks up a podium for 3rd, and Giraffe, and we've lost Frenzy on turn 9 on the final lap. Yeah, Giraffe getting ahead of Mikey on the penalties. Blue, Nicker, yeah, Mikey dropping all the way to P8 on that, just ahead of his teammate Wazza. Cryptox rounding out the top 10. Adidas is going to come across the line just ahead of the Entity and actually takes 10th place. LaRue on a disappointing day for Racing Point, losing out late on. They were both looking pretty solid at half distance. But he's going to come through the final couple of corners, come across the line. He will pick up points for P13, and F1 Lover going across the line 14th. And Castle's finished, so Frenzy will actually pick up the final point despite not finishing the race. He was classified 15th. Yeah, Shaq pretty happy with the Merc win. And we'll get confirmation of the results after the podium ceremony then. So Jero onto the top step. He definitely looks like a candidate for the title at this early stage. Lost out in the points last week, of course, but once again, very much up the front on pace. Evil Master, though, picking up another 33 points, I think. Yeah, I'm trying to remember my own points system. Yeah, another 33 points for 2nd place. Confirmation then of your RLH C4 results. Jero taking the win and fastest lap with a 1:17.7. Evil Master P2 for AlphaTauri. Phil rounding out the podium for McLaren, his first podium of the season. Multi just missing out for Williams, but they are very much back and picking up some points. Giraffe for Red Bull P5. Blue, Nicker, Mikey, Wazza, Adidas, Cryptox, the Entity, LaRue, F1 Lover, Frenzy didn't actually make it to the flag, but he's classified 15th. And Castle and King of Talk were your final classified runners, I believe. And yeah, Nelboy and Hagrid Banter, unfortunately, were your 2 DNFs. So yeah, that's it once again for C4. Next week, I should know the track. We're at Monaco next week, so anything could definitely happen there. We may even see a bit of a surprise winner. But yeah, action, of course, 7 o'clock tomorrow and Thursday night this week with the various other tiers. So join us for that. And yeah, once again, thank you and goodbye.